Hi, I'm Kathy Dilly Smith, the president-elect of the Friends of Tennessee Libraries. And this presentation is part of the Friends of Tennessee Libraries 2021 annual meeting entitled Navigating the New Normal, Preparing Friends for the Future. For the last 29 years, Friends of Tennessee Libraries has been promoting and advocating for libraries across our state by mentoring and supporting friends groups. Over the last year, we have asked all of our friends members and non-members to complete a survey about their needs. And one of the top requests was information about how to handle social media, how to engage audiences, and build support for friends groups. So I am delighted to present what I'm calling Social Media 101 with the best, the social media guru of my life, Deanna Lambert Thomas. Deanna is a former news reporter at Channel 4, if you think she looks familiar. And she has been the spokesperson for the Tennessee Department of Transportation. So if you saw her on some TDOT interviews, and she is now the Community Relations Director for the City of Brentwood with an entire slew of awards from Emmys to most recently an award for her social media presence during the pandemic for the City of Brentwood. So Deanna, we are so happy for you to join us and share all of your knowledge.
Well, Kathy, that was quite the introduction. So thank you so much for allowing me to help you and your library friends here in this space. I love talking about social media and, love it or hate it, it's here to stay. So we might as well embrace it and figure out how to make the most of it.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay with you.
That's great.
And so I'm going to go ahead and I have created just a few visuals to make it interesting for those in the audience today. And Kathy certainly has been a participant in a few of my live videos here or there once or twice. So we're going to talk about a little bit about social media and the essential principles, but it's also really just social media 101. And we want to have fun with this. So again, my introduction, I do serve as the Community Relations Director for the City of Brentwood. That means I do all kinds of things: social media, website, manage historic homes, volunteer boards, and plan some community events. So as far as social media, why do we want to be social? What do you think, Kathy?
Well, for friends groups, I say 100 times, anyone who's ever heard me talk about friends, we suffer from people not knowing we exist and not knowing what we do. So for Friends of the Brentwood Library, our social media is really to try to just make the community aware of what is going on in our group and the services we provide.
And Kathy explained it right there. Why do we do social media? It's because we want to build our community. We want to let people know that we're here in a way to serve them or provide a product or whatever. And in your case, it's obviously educate them about your friends groups. We want to create relationships with our communities. We want them to be involved and engaged. And we want to raise awareness and promote our events. One of the neatest things Kathy and I have done together is advertise the Friends of the Brentwood Library book sales in the fall. So really, the social space is almost pretty much a free place to advertise your group. So how do you get started? You really want to set your expectations. If your group does not have a social media policy, you do want to consider writing one. And this just basically sets the ground rules for your organization and those using your page so that if you have to delete comments or something like that, then you have ground basis for doing that. And you really want to set your expectations, within your own group. You want to define kind of what is your purpose for being on this social media channel. You also probably want to define which channels you even want to be on. And we're going to discuss throughout this program today the different platforms and what you would use them for. Also, how much time do you have to commit to social media? Do you have possibly a team of people who can help you, or do you only have maybe one volunteer who can help you? That's going to define what you're going to be able to do as well. And the ability, are you willing to take the time to learn, plan, create, and test the channels? People think social media is easy, but it's
It's
not.
not.
It's not. To do it correctly, you really have to understand it. It's not science, but it is a little bit like science in that
But there
there
are
is
analytics. Yeah, there are definitely analytics to what people respond to and times and all that stuff.
exactly. And your most savvy social media users understand the analytics and the background behind things. So yes, Kathy's exactly right. And then what does your organization, what's the outcome that you're wanting for your social media? Is it awareness? Is it, community engagement? So you'll have to define those things amongst your group, and then you'll be able to figure out which social media platforms to use. There are so many out there. Which one's your favorite, Kathy?
Um, I love Instagram because I think that's a different audience. I think that really captures some of the people that we really are not addressing, or typically not friends members, that demographic. And we try to make those posts fun if we can.
So I'll tell you about which demographics in a few minutes use each platform. But Instagram is that younger platform, those college kids who like to see, the pretty pictures and post the very visual things out there on Instagram. So this is where we get into the part talking about strategy and the different kind of platforms and knowing the why before, where, and what. So when you get ready to sit down and say, we're going to do social media, you want to have a strategy. You want to figure out, what kind of content do we have? Do we have someone who's great at taking really, really awesome visual pictures? Or do we have someone who can create short videos and put those together? Do we have a blog or a podcast? You want to know where you're meeting your customers or your audience. Who is your audience? Where are your customers? And kind of what's your ideal client out there? Calendar, there's all different kinds of holidays in the social media world. There's a day for anything.
Everything.
So if you are absolutely stuck about what to post one day, just pull up that social media calendar and you can make something up.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and they're out there.
Donut day. Here's a donut with the book you're reading. I mean, it can be just as simple as that.
Exactly. And you can Google social media calendar and you'll find 10 versions of it. Consistency, in the early days of Facebook, it was basically post a lot and post often. I think since we've learned as a society to use social media, it's not so much of how much you post now, it's quality. So keep that in mind when you're developing your strategy. And have a personality. I mean, social media is the place that we can have fun, even as government communicators. We can have fun and show personality behind what normally is, big brick government structure, and that makes people engage with your brand more when it's fun and interesting. You do want to make sure you proofread though, because the way you talk is not necessarily the way you want to write it on social media. So remember to always have someone do kind of just a second set of eyes. Like, does this sound right? Does it come across as, kind of what I was meaning? And then there's, no time like the present. Just go ahead and pick a time frame during the day and just go on social media and start monitoring your page and see what's there. Now, this is still, to be honest, a goal for Brentwood. We don't yet have a social media style guide, which is why I'm using this style guide from my friends at the Orange County Sheriff's Department. But if you have an organizational, a brand guideline, which I know our library does, our city does, you just really have to kind of transfer that over to social media in a smaller way. So if your branding guideline has typically 8 colors that you use across your organization, maybe narrow it down to kind of some primary and secondary colors. And then make sure that all of your posts kind of follow those colors, use the official logos, And that way, everything that is on your page looks official. Make sure that
Well,
you,
and that's such a little thing, but so big if you're creating that brand of Friends.
yeah,
You know, having a logo that's unique to you, and using those colors throughout all of your posts, just that continuity where people know when they're scrolling, oh, that's the Friends.
yeah. And some people even do a little bit of a modification of their logo to make their avatar or their profile pic. And so that's how the city of Brentwood does it, so that right there at the beginning, you know that it's our page. And whenever you're training, if you have a team, you'll want to make sure that you kind of talk to them about the voice of your organization, so that all posts kind of sound like they're coming from one voice as opposed to many. And always use hashtags. Hashtags are there to help us get connected to the world.
We're hashtag better with friends. Because
Better
our
with
library
friends.
is better with friends.
I love it. That's a great hashtag. And you also want to obviously keep it short, and that's a good one. So Facebook, it is the largest social media platform. All the youngsters like to say that's where our parents went. That's where all the old people are these days. And you know, think about it. I mean, the average demographic on, I know our city's Facebook page is the older, the 45 to 66 demographic, and that is who is on Facebook. But you know what? It's the largest platform, as in like 2.3 billion monthly active users. Where else in one spot do you find that many eyes on one thing, you know? So it is definitely still a place to connect with others. And, you know, Facebook has been great about reinventing itself. Their new platform, Stories, which is what's referenced here, you know, we're able to start kind of a live video. It's that live video platform that really gets the most engagement, because it seems like when live pops up, somebody feels like they're going to miss it if they don't see it. So it's a sense of urgency. So you have to go live in order to really get a lot of great engagement. Stories is the new feature out there right now, that allows you to kind of add the filters and the effects. And, you know, it's short term though, so it goes away unless you archive it. So keep that in mind, and you can only do it from a mobile device. So that is something that is not offered on the desktop platform.
But that would be a great thing for book sales or events that you're trying to promote in the short term, right? Because
Right
if that
on,
went
Kathy.
away, that content is not appropriate or useful after the book sale's over. So that might be an event, a good way for Friends to promote an event.
Exactly. And here, just for your viewing pleasure, I do have an image here of Kathy Dooley Smith advertising, I guess, what was this, the spring book sale maybe?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, 597 views. I mean, that's fantastic. And you see here, it was only about 2.5 minutes. So it was short, it was sweet, it was live and to the point. And so that's exactly on the spot advertising is what you're doing right there. And, you know, I'd say it works. I don't know if you guys quizzed your shoppers there.
Well, I do really think it works. I do think it exposes us to another audience. And, you know, the first time that I asked you to come do this, and by the way, Friends, ask your city or your county person if this is a possibility. You are supporting a government entity in a department, and so it may be possible for your social media person at your funding body to either repost or retweet your video, or to come out. Deanna came out the first time and did the filming for us and walked us through it, and we practiced, and it has just been a really great way to reach a different audience than normally are coming to the book sales.
Yes. And, you know, Kathy is great. She has no fear. But if you have someone who may be a little apprehensive about it, just talk them through it. Yes. All you got to do is just plan it, let them know what you're going to do. You're going to focus on them a little bit, focus on the books, and then they'll feel more at ease about it. It wasn't that hard, right, Kathy?
It was terrible the first time. You're like, I'm going to get really close to you, like right here. But it's okay. Don't worry. Just keep talking.
And you'll want to also mix up your content. We do advertise all of the sales, but you'll also want to, show us something in the library. Take us on a trip. Show us how the back end of your, Bookie Monster or something like that works. You can create very visual things these days from a cell phone. So there are all different kinds of ways to create different kind of content out there.
Yes. What did that money do? When we sold these books and raised this money, where did it go? Do a short video on that.
Yes. And behind the scenes, anything, you can even ask your audience questions. Hey, tell us what you would like to see from inside our library today. And they will definitely let you know. Also, we're getting to the analytics here. There is data. Even if your audience doesn't answer your question, there is analytics that show what they are most interested in. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. And then right here is a post on the Friends of the Brentwood Library page where they have reshared something from the Williamson homepage. This is actually content about the library holding an auction for a local artist here who painted a historic home. And so we know that the Williamson homepage is a trusted news source. They're not rogue, they're not making up information. So we want to share something that they've written about the library. So
Yes.
Make sure that you only share information from those trusted sites so that people continue to use your site as well. Oh, Instagram. Here we go. This is the one where everything is beautifully hashtagged 1,000 times over, right?
Everyone is happy. Everyone is beautiful.
Everyone is so happy and beautiful. All right. Show people the struggle, the work ethic, the long hours, the time off, your thoughts, your victories, and your mistakes. In short, just show them what's real, right? Gary, I'm not for sure with his last name. I bet you know it, Kathy. So learning Instagram stories is obviously been around for a little while, and you can spend a lot of time trying to put together an incredible Instagram story. The best thing that works on Instagram are photos, and high quality photos at that. You can't just take something and put on there. It has to be something fabulous, something that you would almost enter into a photography contest is what you put on Instagram. It's kind of an intimate way to connect with your brands, the thought leaders in our communities, friends, family, government. And I have seen way too much of Britney Spears on Instagram lately. I do not know why she is posting all of the things she is posting, but somebody needs to tell her to stop. The stories are very hot right now. Those, again, do disappear after 24 hours. But don't worry, you can archive it if you want to. But those stories, again, take a little bit of time to create. And then there is a go live option on Instagram, although I'm going to be completely honest, I don't use it that much. If I go live, it's usually Facebook is the place that I feel comfortable going live. You can, though, live stream something up to 10 minutes on Instagram. Start playing with your stories. If you've never done an Instagram story, just play around with some things. I did one of my first ones a few months ago when I was visiting St. Louis, Missouri, and you're just able to kind of pick a few pictures or videos together, use some kind of stickers and textiles, and then voila, you have an instant story available. And then those filters are always a big thing on Instagram. The butterfly over your eye, or the sparkles in the sky, whatever you need. Instagram has a filter for everything. And then you also want to make sure that you use hashtags. Instagram is definitely the place where we have a lot of hashtags. Now, YouTube is one to reach for, because not everybody can do video. Video is one of those things where you can teach yourself how to do video on a phone, or you may have someone in your organization that knows how to shoot video and edit well.
Or you could recruit someone in your high school media class to do something as a project for the Friends.
Very true. There is a lot of untapped talent out there, and yes, storytelling by far is the most underrated skill.
Well, and high school kids who are in a media class or in a film class often have projects that they need to create. Then you have kids that maybe just enjoy doing it, and have a talent for it and need volunteer hours for their school. Those are all resources that you can tap into, and you would be surprised at all the people out there with talent. You just have to ask.
You just have to ask. It's great advice. So once we have been growing our YouTube channel here at the City of Brentwood, and once you do get ready to kind of go into this space, you kind of have to figure out, is your audience the same as your audience on Facebook and Instagram and those other platforms? You kind of have to figure out what is it that they want to learn about. And for the City of Brentwood, we're going to tell them about our programs. We want them to know what services that their tax dollars are paying for. You want to figure out kind of what you want to say. You can brainstorm together. Your video setup on YouTube is important. It allows you to create playlists, channels, and all different kinds of things. So ours is kind of broken down by city departments. And then also the Brentwood Library has its entire playlist as well. And then once you figure out what your content is, make sure you stay consistent. Our library has a great segment called Out and About. And right here, you see that it's about equine therapy at a local horse riding place called Saddle Up. So they have really branded this particular playlist and this feature well.
Well, and that started as a result of the pandemic. The library staff wanted to still offer programming and content. And so they planned Out and About and went out and did that behind the scenes kind of experience that on something you might not know about. And those have just been really popular. And that's a great way. The friends could buy the video equipment to do that, and get that word out. And then you can publicize that you provided the support for that program.
Yes, those have been extremely, excuse me, popular over since the pandemic. And, the biggest, I think, success to those is that they stick to one topic. Video can be difficult because sometimes people try to cram too much, but my rule of thumb when producing video is one topic, one video, and it really helps to keep the video short. In all of the back-end analytics I've watched on videos, you have about 15 to 20 seconds to really capture someone's attention. Ooh, excuse me. And
it's the fall in Tennessee.
It's the allergies. I tell you,
Yes,
that window
yes.
is closed, but it's coming through. And then once you post your videos on YouTube, you also want to make sure you use keywords in your title and at least twice in your sentences. So those will help your videos kind of maximize their search engine optimization. And then, your thumbnail is just as important as your video. You want to make sure that you're putting something nice and visual and creative there so that those people who are regular subscribers to your channel know how to find those things. All right, Twitter. Who loves Twitter? I know I do. It's the platform for the ADHD, those people who just want to know everything that's happening in the day. You just scroll. I love it. It's great. It's the breaking news place. I mean, it's where you go to find fast-paced conversations about current events. I know as a former reporter, I used to go here to get story ideas. So if you want to really get your information out there and to, some eyes, become one of those people that maybe some local media would like to follow, and they can definitely then get turned on to your brand. And you don't want to be confused with, well, I've got 6,000 Twitter followers. It used to be back in the day, you bragged about how many you had, but now it's really on cultivating, those followers and making sure that we're kind of engaging with those people in that space. On average, we want to make sure that we're responsive on any social media platform. When, a person asks something about your organization, you know, you want to try to get back to them as quickly as possible is the good rule of thumb. And Twitter is the same way. You want to make sure you're being responsive there as well. You know, the best tips and tricks for Twitter, make sure your hashtag is, you know, relevant. You don't have to use hashtag post anymore on Twitter, but it's just kind of a way of boosting your visibility out there if you do. You know, emojis, using all kinds of emojis in your language. Apparently that's what the kids are doing these days, right, Kathy?
It is. I have never seen so much commentary on the sheriff's department posted something about making sure you lock your cars. We'd had a string of car break-ins in parks and, you know, at the Y and that kind of stuff. And he used a little car emoji, and he used keys, and
light.
he used all kinds of stuff. I mean, polarizing, but the commentary, the engagement that you got from that was insane. You know, it was more engagement about this car emoji than any topic he had tweeted about in a very long time.
Yes. So it's just amazing how the world is communicating in all different kinds of ways these days. Letters, emojis, all kinds of things. So now we get into the fun part, analytics. Analytics is really where we're going to dive in, and we're going to learn the why the numbers matter, the why behind the why. You know, why do some things take off and then other things don't? So we're going to go over these tips first, and then I'm actually going to take and show you how to get into your Facebook analytics. It's all free. You can definitely use platforms to help you manage the back end of things like this, but you can do everything from your business page of Facebook, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So social analytics, you know, kind of wrapping your head around it, it sounds kind of overwhelming to some people, but your step one, you really just want to figure out how to access your social media analytics. And then you want to discover, like, who are your followers? You know, who are you trying to communicate with behind this, you know, space in the screen? And then once you understand who your audience is, you want to set goals, you know, to know what social media metrics you want to measure or matter to your leadership in your organization. You want to then use tools to help analyze and measure that data, so you can then turn it over and say, look, this is how we're growing our audience. If you also want advanced knowledge, there's all kinds of different outside resources out there and studies that can kind of dive a little deeper into why people are engaging with social the way they are. And each platform has its own analytics page. All of them are typically, like, you can access them somewhere from the home page. We're going to go over specifically to our page. And can you see the City of Brentwood Facebook page now, Kathy? Do you see this? Okay. Yes. So like what I was saying earlier, you can see the City of Brentwood's logo here across the cover photo area, and then also this area where you would normally put a profile pic if it was a personal page. So we have decided to do this just for branding, so that everyone knows it's the legit City of Brentwood government page. And then this little blue mark right here that means that Facebook has confirmed that this is the authentic profile. It is an authentic page. So you there are instructions on how to get your page, I guess, authentic. And that is something that just gives your page credibility as kind of the go-to expert in your area.
So do you guys then not change your cover photo frequently? So you're keeping that banner all the time, as opposed to changing with photographs or other things?
Yes. And to be honest, that is just the way we have done it, because I am a one-person department at my city and I can only do so much. And so this is one of the things that if I had a team of people, it would probably be nice to change it out, maybe with the seasons or something like that. Yeah. So you just kind of have to figure out, what does your organization, you know, have the capabilities to do. So right here with manage is where you are actually going to go. This first page right here is called our professional dashboard. And it just basically is an overview. So we'll start here at the top. You can see that this page, we have about 8,247 followers. And this is, over the last 28 days, the last month. Our post engagement on average is around 4,000, and we've had about 47 new followers. And you can see all of the recent posts that we have had in the past 90 days. And sometimes I scroll through here just to kind of see which ones have had the most engagement. This one right here was actually from last night. We awarded winners at our city commission meeting for tree board awards. And so this got a lot of engagement, probably because people were excited to see the people in the community they know. This one right here about our chipper program in the city of Brentwood. Do you know that we spend $500,000 annually on this program? This got a lot of engagement. So that's something that people are interested in learning more about. So this is what you can just kind of scroll down through here and see. Brentwood's first inclusive playground will have a special name. So these are just kind of some of the articles and informational posts to give you an idea of some of the things we do. So over here on insights, if you want to dig a little bit deeper, you can actually go to this Facebook business suite is what it's called. And usually you have to link it to a person's account. So I am managing the city of Brentwood's account. So it connects to my personal Facebook. And right over here on the side, there is a column for insights. So you pull up insights and it just gives you a little bit of a deeper dive. And we're connected to Instagram here with our Facebook page. So it then shows you the audience comparison. I couldn't get that out, Kathy. Comparison. And you can see obviously our Facebook page followers is, almost 3 times as much as our Instagram. We started our Instagram a few years ago, so we're still growing it and it grows very fast. But you can see here that Instagram, our largest demographic is women, 27% in that age 35 to 44, which is probably a little bit older than your average. I'm guessing if this was maybe a business page for a clothing line or something like that, your demographics here would be a little bit up. And then Facebook, our largest audience is women in every age category, but also we're high right there in, the 35 to 44, and then also this next one, 45 to 54, and then in the following, the 55 to 64. So that's kind of how our audience breaks down. You also can see spikes. These spikes can show you on particular days. I'd have to go back here to September, it looks like maybe 22nd or 23rd, and see what was it we posted that day, but that was a very high engagement day. Also on Instagram around September 28th, that was a very high engagement day. So I'd have to figure out kind of what was going on that day. And then this is just kind of a bigger breakdown of content. This post right here did very well on our Facebook page. It was about a chipper service where we had gone to help a neighboring community. And so people really, really liked that one and engaged with it a lot. You see that there's 20 comments and 33 shares. And then this is just kind of a little bit bigger into our audience. You can obviously see this is where our audience lives, rightfully so. Brentwood, Nolensville, Nashville area is kind of where, where our news is geared towards. I always wonder about the 0.1s, in Canada and the Philippines and South Africa.
And Ghana, and how interesting.
Maybe it's somebody's relative.
But we have several followers on our friends page because there's a Brentwood, Missouri and a Brentwood, California. We actually have people who have liked our page thinking they were liking their own friends page. And that has started such great conversations because those presidents have reached out to us to ask questions, and it's become this wonderful opportunity to share and learn
Yes.
from people that you would never otherwise meet, but a Facebook mistake.
Exactly. And some of the best ideas that I have from social media have come from learning how other people do it. So I know I manage some Facebook pages for my children's school, and I love following other PTO pages to see what they do. So, the social media space, it's all out there for everyone to see. And so definitely that's some great advice to just kind of, go check out what other library pages are doing and friends pages.
And the Friends of Tennessee Library's Facebook page is very good about reposting from other friends groups. So that's a really good way to connect with friends groups across the state, and then maybe individually follow those accounts that you really like their content, or don't reinvent the wheel. Look for things that are already out there that can engage your audience.
Exactly. And I didn't put this in the slideshow, but I do want everyone to write down Canva, CANVA.com. It is a free resource to help you make graphics. And for a small subscription price, you can also put your branding guidelines in there, the colors and the fonts and everything like that you want your organization to use. And so that's also another helpful one. All right. So what else now, Kathy?
Well, I think the thing I have a question about is there a way to determine the best time to post based on your analytics?
Yes, there is a way to determine the best time to post. To be honest, Facebook changed some things recently. And so I have lost where it is located, but we might be able to find it back here. But yes, part of what they allow you to see here in some of these analytics is also when your audience is using your page.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just not for sure where it is now, but it is probably on here somewhere. I just don't know where.
Well, typically, what do you do? Typically, because I think really friends groups and the audience that you're doing for City of Brentwood is similar. So what times do you typically post something?
Okay, so our demographics are typically on the most on Sunday and Monday evenings. That's when they are kind of catching up. So as you can see here, this is our calendar the past week, and it's pretty heavy on Sunday and Mondays just because I know that's when our demographic is there. This is apparently is also a new feature. I guess Facebook has integrated the social media calendar here. So Sunday is National Pasta Day, in case you're wondering, Kathy.
Oh,
National Pasta Day. So now they have already integrated this into the back end of Facebook. And
you can also schedule your post or your story, so you can really plan out your week so that you don't have to keep going back to it and have it auto post for you throughout the week. That's a great time saver.
That's a great time saver, and they've really enhanced the way that you're able to do it on the back end of Facebook. I know for the city, we use Sprout Social, which is a subscription software where you can kind of post to multiple channels. But if you are a volunteer and you are managing one channel, the back end business suite part of Facebook has really improved over the past few months.
Awesome.
I'll have to do some research on where you find when people are on your page.
I think they just enjoy moving things, like at the supermarket
or Costco. I go back to buy my favorite thing and it's gone all of a sudden.
They put it on an end cap and everyone bought it. But
right.
no, that's awesome. Such good information.
Yeah.
I guess, what is your one takeaway for social media? I know what mine is.
Okay, that's a good question. Your one takeaway. I feel like
Mine would be, don't be afraid to try.
that's what I was going to say was just jump in and get started. You don't have to have like an elaborate, plan. You don't have to have everything planned out for the week. Just get started and see how your community interacts with your post.
Mhm. Just that, and that's what we kind of did, because we weren't on social media until about 4 or 5 years ago. And it takes some time to build followers. But just start and make
Yep.
it fun.
Yep. Yeah, and it's very helpful to go back every now and then and just see what your community is engaging with.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, Deanna, thank you so much for sharing your time and expertise with us. Thank all of you for joining us. We hope this was helpful for you. And we are always available at the Friends of Tennessee Libraries to help you with mentoring or with any problems that you may encounter. Please don't hesitate to reach out and contact us. Thank you for all you do for friends and for libraries across the state and country. And happy National Friends of Libraries Week.